Hello, so I am sharing a very geeky campervan upgrade that I've been doing for our beautiful campervan conversion. It's a Peugeot Boxer 2018 conversion, and what we actually bought from our previous motorhome, and then also from we bought another one for this campervan, is this magical device, um, and it is called an EcoFlow Delta 2. And basically, what it does is, as you can see, it has like cables and stuff. It's basically a very large battery. So the battery is 100 amp hours. And that allows things like you could boil our kettle about 10, 12 times from it. You can cook from it. It has loads of light ports for 12 volts and USB at the front. And at the back, it has outputs for UK 240 volts. And then also it has charging at 240 volts. Now, the problem is it is an absolutely fantastic device, but it's not very fast at charging through 12 volts or the equivalent at solar, which is a bit higher. And so what I've been doing is trying to figure out like how do I charge it fastest and make it flexible. And I either want to keep it here because it's great here to have all the access to all its built-in like inputs and outputs. But sometimes I also keep it down here, which is nice and out of the way. So just remove that bedding and it can just sit in there. So, oh, and sometimes you just want to pick it up and take it into the house, or if you're visiting someone, and charge it. So it'll charge in about an hour or an hour and 20 minutes, which is fantastic. So this is what I did. You can see some stuff set up. So in here, I'll just flash it very briefly. In there is uh, it's very dark, but it is another 100 amp hour lithium battery, and it gets charged from solar that comes in through the roof. It gets charged by driving, and it also gets charged when we're connected to electrical hookup, um, like shore power, and so that comes in at the back there into the vehicle. And so what I did is I connected a Renogy 1000 watt inverter, so that takes the 12 volts from the lithium battery under here that gets all the beautiful inputs from driving and solar and when you're connected to hook up or shore power. Um, and what it does is it outputs 240 volts and it can then charge the power bank, the EcoFlow power bank. What's cool is that I also connected up this little device. It's quite hard to show it, but it is a Victron switch. Let me see if I can just flash in front of your eyes. So this thing here is very dark, but that's a little intelligent switch. And what it does is you can remotely turn on and off anything that's connected to it, like this inverter, which is great. You can do it through Bluetooth. Sorry for the noise. Um, and then you can also get it to detect voltages, so it can do things like check the voltage of the lithium battery in here, and then when it's high enough voltage, like when it looks like it has enough capacity, start charging this one, and then stop when this one runs too low. So that's really cool. And it actually works, which is also incredible. Um, and so yeah, I just ran a test. So what happens now is um, right now the let me just check it's turned on. I think it is. Um, yeah, so there's a little light at the back there. That means that power comes out of here and it runs under the van. So it runs under here and it runs all the way along under here, goes under here, and that output from the power bank comes up and it comes up to this blue cable at the back here and goes into this power socket, which is turned on. And this is what I added. And so then the power comes from here and goes all the way back into here, and charges the everything in the van. So I say charges it will make. There's a power socket down here. There's a power socket down here, and these will all just work. So if I just try my little mains power Hoover, it should work. It works. And the other cool thing is that I can just leave this connected up, doing this all the time. You can um, adjust this using like turn on and off, turn on off to different features. So I can turn on this cable that feeds the whole van. I can turn it on with my app, and same with the inverter. I can turn that on with a different app. And to stop the problem of the van charging itself. So if you think, I've kind of created this infinite loop where this battery goes through the inverter, charges this then goes all the way down to the back and comes all the way back up and charges the lithium battery again. If you just it, I don't know. I don't think that's dangerous. It's just that what would happen is over time, because there's a loss of 10 to 20% in conversion between these different devices, that if you just left it for maybe 24 hours, it would everything would go flat because it would lose itself to its conversion. But what I was able to do is there's just a switch at the back here um, for this thing, and that if you turn that off, it stops the charger, so it stops the mains charger from charging this battery. So it breaks that infinite loop, it cuts it. And yeah, there's probably more I can do. There's a few questions you might be thinking of, like, well, why didn't I just do all the 240-volt wiring here? One problem is space, is like zero space to do it. And the other downside of doing that is I wouldn't get the same option to put the EcoFlow here or down here. And what I will do is the other cool thing you can do is this is basically what happens is the mains power comes up from the ground here at the back of the van. So just like when you're hooking up in a campsite, it goes into this power socket. So that's just standalone and kind of left doing nothing. But when you disconnect this plug and plug that into there, it'll allow the power to go straight from outside and then all the way into the lithium battery, and it would also charge down there. It charge the power bank as well. Um, and I'm sure there's more flexibility I haven't quite figured out yet. But yeah, I just wanted to share that geeky fun that I'm doing. The main purpose of this is so that I can go for camping overnight, camping for a few nights, and just allow the system to look after itself. So allow the main van setup to just charge the power bank, and I actually have two of those power banks. So especially for longer journeys, it'll just allow it to power up. The other handy thing about the power bank is that it has a much higher inverter built in. So you can, at the moment, it's set to charge, just only charge at about 200 watts. And that takes about 20 or so amps from the 12-volt van lithium battery. So it's a slow charge. Well, 20 amps at 12 volts isn't like, it's not super low or so super slow. It's actually pretty good. But I can also adjust it, so I can also increase it, and it would go all the way up to 1,000 watts. And that inverter that I bought will sustain 1,000 watts for the time it takes to charge the battery. Um, and so you could charge it up and take it out the van, if you're camping somewhere, and take it with you. Um, and then you can also, you know, another way of doing this is I just keep charging the power bank and making sure that's full, and then leave the van's lithium battery to just charge kind of naturally through its other driving solar or mains hookup inputs. So yeah, I love the flexibility. I love the automation, especially the detection of the Victron battery protect switch that just allows the feeding of the power bank's charging when there's plenty of power all around. And yeah, so far I've really enjoyed it. I mean, I've literally just set up, but I've had like in a manual version of this, and it's worked really well. Like especially if you're leaving the van for a few days in this current place, the solar panel, which isn't very big, it's only 80 watts, but it still quite happily charges the battery for over a few days. So yeah, that's my geeky camper van fun. Hope you enjoyed this. Sending so much love from Scotland. Take care.